Welcome to How to Craft, where mystery meets making. I'm your host, Meandering Murphy, and in each episode, I'll guide you into forgotten forests where cryptids lurk, show you spirits that refuse to rest, and talk about alien encounters that challenge everything we think we know. But there's a twist. We're not just investigating these mysteries, we're bringing them to life with our own two paws. So, grab your clay, break out the paint, and prepare to get crafty with the unknown, because we're about to turn legends into some legendary crafts on Now on to supplies. What you see on the screen before you don't actually have to have it all. But the main thing you really do need is clay. I will be using this brand of clay right here. It is air dry clay. I got it from Hobby Lobby. Price tag says $12.99 on it, but I didn't actually pay that. I got it for 40% off. They have these sales every other week at the store, so just watch out for that on the week. You by no means have to use air dry clay. You can use something bakeable like Sculpey, or if you're nice and fancy, you can use clay that you bake in the kiln. My clay will be white when it dries, so if you don't want to paint, you can always use a colored clay. Sculpey is another good choice. Optional stuff that you don't have to have, but will make your life easier, is sculpting tools, an X-Acto knife, a round circle cutter, and since the clay is going to be white when it dries, I'm going to be using acrylic paints. And if you're using acrylic paints, you're going to need a paintbrush, water container, and a palette. Or if you're like me, you can just use a lid, which is a big no-no. You'll need something to clean up your mess with. And I'm also using glass flat back cabochons, a cork that's going to be used for the money stopper, and some glue to glue on the glass cabochons. And that's pretty much it. So let's get to the project and start learning about the Mapinguari. Deep in the rainforest of Brazil is said to exist a ferocious beast, one that roams the forest and acts as a protector for those who cannot protect themselves. Dare anyone disrupt or destroy the forest where this creature dwells, it will seek them out for retribution, repaying their misdeeds by destroying them in return and leaving them to fertilize the very ground they trespass upon. Once a shaman, this creature was forced to pay for its own misdeeds against the natural order. As a human, the shaman discovered the secret to immortality and briefly enjoyed the benefits of this gift. But when the gods discovered the shaman's transgression, their anger was swift and terrible. In the eyes of a god, immortality is a gift to be bestowed only upon them, not mere humans. And gods are not known for their gentle punishments. They seek to set examples, warnings not to mess with the natural order. So, punish the shaman they did. It allowed him to keep the immortality he had claimed for himself, but not in the way the gods enjoyed it. Instead, it was in a way that no one would want to spend eternity, forever forced to roam and protect the forest as the hideous beast, the Mapinguari! The Mapinguari exists in that shadowy realm where folklore meets possibility. In one telling, it's pure nightmare, a creature born from the darkest corners of Amazonian legend, designed to haunt dreams and whisper warnings around flickering campfires. But there's another interpretation, perhaps more chilling in its plausibility. That is, it isn't mere mythology at all, but the distorted memory of something that once stalked the rainforest. What makes the Mapinguari particularly intriguing is how its description has shifted over time, morphing from one terrifying form into something entirely different, yet potentially more grounded in biological reality. The Mapinguari of legend is said to look like a 7-foot-tall, hairy humanoid reminiscent of North America's Sasquatch, if Bigfoot was a cyclops. You know, those big scary giant monsters from Greek and Roman mythology with a huge eye in the center of their head. That guy. The Mapinguari sports unlustrous locks of reddish to black hair, and beneath that matted mist lies tough, leathery skin like that of the black caiman that shares its Brazilian habitat. This crocodile-like hide is supposedly so tough that even if someone could get close enough to shoot the Mapinguari, bullets would simply bounce off of it. But getting close enough is the real challenge. You see, on the Mapinguari's stomach is a second horrible gaping mouth. This abdominal maw lets out booming roars and spews out an odor so foul, so disgusting, and so overpowering that it not only confuses and disorients its victims, it can knock you unconscious, if you're lucky. If you're unlucky, the extreme stench will suffocate you to death. But even if you wanted to hunt this creature, you'd have trouble tracking it. The Mapinguari's long, clawed feet are said to be backwards facing. And this may be where it gets its name from the two Pinguari words mbe, pai, guari, meaning a thing that has a bent or crooked foot or paw. These backwards footprints can confuse even the best of trackers, making the creature appear to be coming when it's actually going? Or is it going when it's actually coming? And if you do manage to track it down, survive the stench, and have your gun ready, you might be still in mortal danger. Remember that impenetrable crocodile-like skin? If you aim for the places that would kill any other creature, your bullet will just bounce off, like you're shooting Superman himself. The only way to kill a Mapinguari, according to legend, is to be an excellent shot and aim for the eye, the belly button, or one of its mouths. Miss your shot, and you better reload faster than the Mapinguari can swipe at you with those massive, sharp claws. Because if those claws reach you first, well, you won't have the guts to shoot at the creature again, if you know what I mean. For many, the Mapinguari remains nothing more than a myth and legend passed down through generations. For others, however, the Mapinguari is very real, very feared, and taken very seriously. Entire villages have been known to relocate if they even suspect the Mapinguari is nearby. Urban dwellers often laugh and dismiss claims of the beast as old folklore and overactive imaginations. But some city folks who were once skeptics become instant believers after venturing into the forest and encounter the living myth for themselves. So terrifying were their experiences that they refuse to go near the forest again and shudder at the mere mention of the word Mapinguari. Encounters from the early 1900s often describe the Mapinguari as a tall, monkey-like creature, similar to the North American Bigfoot, earning it the rather uncreative nickname Brazilian Bigfoot. Many cryptozoologists, including Bernard Webelman, Ivan T. Sanders, and Lauren Coleman, believe the Mapinguari is some undiscovered primate. They point to evidence supporting tales from the past that the Mapinguari is bipedal with ape-like face. There are stories of the creature ripping tongues from livestock with its bare hands and eating them, a task that requires strength and dexterity that only an ape-like creature could possess. Interestingly, the Mapinguari is said to eat only vegetation, particularly palms. But would you really want to be the one to test that theory? Would you even live to tell the tale? Or would you become dinner? In later years, like any good story, the Mapinguari legend evolved. The creature transformed from an ape-like being into something else entirely. A giant ground sloth. This theory was first proposed by David Oren, an American ornithologist working in Brazil. While studying Brazilian birds, he began hearing tales from locals about a mysterious beast roaming the rainforest. After piecing together description from eyewitnesses and hunters, it became apparent to him that the creature wasn't some ape-like being, but rather a giant ground sloth from prehistoric times, one that was supposed to be extinct. The animal was now being described as walking on all fours, but capable of standing upright on two legs. Its face looked like that of a donkey's, but shorter. It had reddish hair, 4 pegged canine-shaped teeth, and it still has its giant claws that curve inward. This inward curve of the claws makes the sloth walk somewhat on the side of its foot, giving it the appearance of the backward feet that is so often talked about. And This matches fossilized tracks of ancient giant sloths. Legend says Mapinguari also leaves what is called a pestle track, or rounded impression. Researchers think this might not be a footprint at all, but rather the print of a giant sloth's tail supporting it as it stands on its hind leg. This behavior is also attributed to extinct giant sloths. Further supporting the giant ground sloth theory is the work of Glenn Shepard Jr., an anthropologist studying indigenous people in Peru in the far western Amazon. The tribes there describe a sloth-like creature living in their territory they call the Sagami, which may just be a regional name for the Mapinguari. One tribe member even claimed to have seen the creature in a natural history museum in Lima. When Shepard investigated the exhibits from the museum, he found an extinct giant ground sloth that matched descriptions from tribal members. So, what is the Mapinguari? Is it a new, undiscovered species roaming the rainforest? Perhaps an ancestor of Megatherium or Mylodon, a giant sloth that's either a living relic or has evolved over time to survive in the rainforest environment. Maybe it's an undiscovered primate, waiting for that one piece of evidence to prove its existence. Perhaps it's both ape and sloth, different creatures living in the same territories, existing together in a shared mystery. Or maybe it's neither ape nor sloth. Maybe the Mapinguari is just a creature of our imagination, dreamed up long ago to keep children from wandering too far into dangerous territory. Maybe it's a case of mistaken identity, glimpses of real animals that our brain couldn't quite process, transforming them into something fantastical. Many researchers speculate that people are mistaken giant anteaters or spectacled bears that migrate from the mountains during the winter. The anteater theory makes particular sense since Mapinguari claws are said to resemble anteater claws, and feces attributed to the Mapinguari have been identified as belonging to giant anteaters. But when shown pictures of these animals, people who claim to have seen the Mapinguari emphatically insist that that is not what they witnessed. Of course, people will insist they've seen all sorts of things. Bigfoot, for example, only to be proven wrong later. Yet, when confronted with the evidence, they often maintain their original story, even becoming insulted when their credibility is questioned. After all, we see what we want to see and believe what we want to believe. Many dismiss the Mapinguari as nothing more than mere stories passed down from generation to generation, morphing with each telling into something more elaborate, something bigger, something magical. But who's to say it doesn't exist? Or at least didn't exist at one time? After all, isn't there a little truth to every legend? In the Amazonian rainforest, where new species are being discovered and vast areas remain unexplored, the Mapinguari continues to capture imaginations. Whether it's an undiscovered primate, a surviving sloth, a case of mistaken identity, or just pure folklore, the legend serves as a reminder of how much mystery still exists in our natural world. And perhaps, in a time when the rainforest faces unprecedented threats, we could use a guardian spirit, even a mythical one, watching over these precious ecosystems. The Mapinguari may or may not be real, but the Amazon it supposedly protects certainly is. And that's how we brought a legend to life. Whether real or not, the Mapinguari reminds us that our world still holds mysteries and change worth protecting. Thanks for crafting with me today. And if you made your own Mapinguari, I would love to see it. Tag me on Instagram, Facebook, or Pinterest at HowToCraft. The next episode drops in about 3 weeks because I'm taking time to make sure it's absolutely worth your wait. And I assure you, you'll be feeling froggy to make what I have coming up. So, if you don't want to miss it, subscribe and hit that bell and keep on crafting the unknown. I'm Meandering Murphy, and we'll see you next time.